with Wilhock Beef Jerky.
Okay, I'll allow it.
Wilhock Beef Jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win cups with salad.
It's Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru. Engineered for Canadian winters, built for real-life confidence. Tackle the ice and snow with Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive, delivering the power, control, stability, and grit you need. And when the temperature plummets, you'll cruise in comfort with heated seats and heated steering wheel. All this plus peace of mind with Subaru's top safety pick status for 19 years running. This winter, it's time to get you into a Subaru. Visit Subaru.ca today.
He's heading into the driveway. Temperature's dropping fast, folks. He opens the hood and, oh no, the battery's on thin ice.
Yeah, that's a tough break, Tim. I mean, you can't expect to compete and win with weak parts in your game like that.
But wait, he's made a clutch move. He's gone to Napa Auto Parts for the win. They've got batteries, winter-grade oils, antifreeze, and wiper blades built for cold Alberta conditions.
That's a championship play, Tim.
With over 85 Alberta locations, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Welcome to the Lowdown. Today's show, Oilers play well but fade in the third period against those Nashville Cats. Home and dry now for most of the rest of the month. Should be good for Edmonton Oilers fans. Plus, coaching changes in the NHL and NFL are the big story this week. NHL team signed a 70-year-old. When I saw that, I thought, if he can work in NHL coaching until 70, I can make it until 80, which makes two of the people in the room really, really happy as I blurt that out. The Lowdown is brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Family owned and community driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. We're live on YouTube and Sports 1440. Online, we're available at iHeartRadio, sports1440.ca, and Radio Player Canada. After the show, it's Apple and Spotify podcast, and we tweet it out on X as well. We're on Twitter at Lowetide, at Declan Krueger, at jfenwick04. We do have a guest today, Kevin McCurdy will join us to talk about the Edmonton Oilers at 1 o'clock. And we, of course, have declinations at 1:40 and rumors at 12:20. And there'll be a lot of verbal from you and from everybody else on the show as we pass the day away together. I hope you're well. It's time for the introductions. His interests include curling, golf, bartending, Dungeons and Dragons, sports, telling people he never gets sick, informing the world he doesn't have a girlfriend, telling me to retire, old man, in quotes, and he loves the music of Luke Bryan, even though he says he does not. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Josh Fenwick. Josh Fenwick.
I got to be honest, I don't think I could tell you a single Luke Bryan song.
You listen to one every day on the way home. It's a duet with somebody else.
No, Zach Bryan. Have you been thinking Zach Bryan and Luke Bryan are different people, are the same people?
This is why
I say Zach Bryan all that. We were talking about Zach Bryan yesterday. Oh my God. Because Zach Bryan, yes, was in my spot of man.
Oh my God. I admit this time I'm wrong.
Oh my God. Clip that.
Oh my God, that's funny.
No, I don't have a girlfriend. Ladies, hit my line.
Okay, there you go. His interests include football, basketball, watching shows about historic events that occurred before he was born, like the release of Nintendo 64, and the music of Lil Baby. It's Declan Krueger. Declan Krueger.
Very good intro. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're watching a mini series about a disaster that occurred about a decade before you were born. Right now,
Yeah, I'm sure most people have seen it. I'm working my way through Chernobyl right now. Yeah, really, really highly regarded miniseries from about 6 years ago. Won the Emmy for best miniseries, Golden Globe for best miniseries.
Will you do me a favor and let me know how it ends?
Yes,
because you'll still be around when it does, when they're farming in that field.
Yeah,
that was a wild story, man.
When it's habitable again.
So now did you gentlemen watch the hockey game? Did you come away thinking that I thought Tristan Jarry played well in the third period, and he needed to, because they were, have you ever been close to being out of gas and you're about 15 miles from town? That's the Oilers in the third period.
It's a good way to describe it.
They didn't seem to have a lot of jump to me, and good for Nashville. They played pretty well. I thought. Did either of you see the game?
Yeah, it was funny when Jarry came out to play the puck in the OT right before Yossi's goal there. I thought I forget the players involved, I should say. I forget who the team was, but do you remember that one where the goalie came out to play and someone ended up flipping? I think it was the goalie. I'm sure Gregor would know the player in the play.
Might have been Patrick Roy. He did some crazy stuff.
It was a touch after his time. Regardless. We talked about it a little bit. Like, I don't think of Nashville as a really fast team, but I thought they played with a lot of speed. I thought they played well. I love Jack as a commentator. I think Jack does a great job. But in the OT, all he could do was talk about how gassed Nashville was and how McDavid was just about to take their lunch and stomp on their graves.
I think they played McDavid too much.
I do too.
Yeah.
The PK, and then he was, double shifting, and then one in the OT, then one shift off. I don't know. It was. Now, the double shift, obviously, that was because Nashville had sustained ozone time there at the end of the shift. But it was, listen, you got 3 out of 4 points on a road trip, and you're playing a team. I know you kind of eat Nashville's lunch, but Nashville's playing really good hockey right now. They're hot. They need to be. Listen, 3 out of 4 points on that little 2-gamer there. You'll take that.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think, we rain down blows daily on the third and fourth line. But one of the reasons they may not be effective is they don't get into the game for long stretches because they're pushing the top two lines. And I really think Chris Knobloch has had great success, but he's not, a perfect coach. And one of the things that I think the Oilers might want to do is invest some minutes in parts of the game in the third and fourth line. Maybe you'll get a better result. Ekholm Bouchard struggled last night, which is really unusual. That's the other takeaway I have from the game. I mentioned just during the chat we had at the top, it's not really a chat, it's just me rambling on, that the Columbus Blue Jackets have hired Rick Bowness, who's 70 years old, which does my heart good because old people deserve to work. We're people too. But with the football and with the NHL changeover here, it just feels like it's mid-season for hockey, end of season for the NFL, and we know there's a lot of changeover. Everybody was talking about Aaron Rodgers maybe having his last game. Do you think Tomlin will coach again in the NFL, or is this it, and he'll move to the booth and he'll become a wise man behind the microphone?
I think he will either not coach again, or he will take a year off, go somewhere, and it won't go very well, and that'll be it.
Okay. So you feel like 5 more years in the industry?
Maybe 4.
Okay.
But I don't really know what I'm basing that on either. It's just kind of a
just blue skying. I asked you 2 minutes ago.
I think it's really tough to go from 20 years with one organization that has been the cornerstone of stability and go somewhere where you're probably, if you're coming in as a head coach, it means you're probably taking over a team that was poor. Even if the situation is fine, you're not going to have the leeway you had in Pittsburgh. There are going to be a lot of expectations on your shoulder because of the longevity you had there and the sustained success. And I don't know. I just it's not going to be the same situation. And I do think that'll catch up to him.
Unless you're a guy like Mike Tomlin, who had a winning record for 19 straight years. I think that gives you a little bit of leeway being one of the greatest coaches of the century.
If I owned the Cincinnati Bengals, what I would do is I would call them up and I would say, I want you to come here and I want you to tell us what's wrong with our organization and I want you to help us streamline it because we don't have we have jack doodly of an idea about how to run an NFL team, and we know it.
Their only idea on how to run an NFL team is snap ball to Joe Burrow.
It's so funny that Zach Taylor's the only NFC North coach with the job right now.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, I like unfathomable. Now, that being said, an important thing to remember about Tomlin is that by technicality, he was not fired. So if an organization wants him, they have to trade for him.
Great point.
Oh, so that's what would it be? A second round pick?
Probably
Yeah.
a first, right? Like Sean
really?
Payton was traded for a first.
But Tomlin hasn't had a great team in a decade.
This is my thing. Like, I do think Mike Tomlin's a very good coach. I do. But Pardon My Take made this point when on their latest, episode. Like, if you're really nitpicking, you say he won with Cowher's team and he won with Cowher's coordinators, Dick Lambeau and Bruce Arians, and then never kind of did it again despite having a lot of sustained success. I do think he's a very good coach. And what he was able to do to keep Ben Roethlisberger and Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown under wraps, I mean, he should be in the Hall of Fame for that alone, just for that stretch alone. Forget about the games he won and the Super Bowl he won. But I guess I'm just not as bullish on his prospects with another team. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I still say, like, if you're Cleveland or Cincinnati or anything, any team, I think the Eagles don't have to call him, but the other teams that are within driving distance of Pittsburgh should call and say, we want to hire you for a year. We just want you to come in and oversee the organization and tell us how dumb we are. There's nothing wrong with that,
No, nothing wrong with that.
They could learn. Learning is it's a lifelong event.
Yeah, you should have told that to yourself. You're not.
Are you putting your finger in your ear right now?
Well, I'm just cleaning it out a little bit. Come on, man.
You should have told I should have told myself.
You should have told yourself that learning's a lifelong event. I think you stopped.
Oh, thanks. Hey, listen, I've been stealing money from companies for 40 years now on the radio. I've learned.
You're just saying that out loud on the radio like that.
Cam Tate does a daily tweet out for the 2-minute warning. The poll today: do you think minor hockey coaches get enough credit for their commitment? And the answer, I suspect, is no. But having said that, I don't think they do it for credit, right? Often it's, there's one of their kids is on the team, or they really like it. I know I've talked to Connor about coaching soccer, which he's done for a long, long time. And he just really enjoys it, right? So I think it's a community thing, but it's also an opportunity to maybe add another skill in terms of what you are able to do as a human being. So I think that's the part of it. One of the things about Minor Hockey Week that I love, I don't think people realize how much money, and I hate to be talking about money, but it is a thing and we all need it if we're going to buy groceries and sofas. There's a lot of money that is hockey related in our community. And I'm not just talking about the Brick Tournament or the Edmonton Oilers. I'm talking about, there are individuals in this city who play hockey professionally in Europe, and their families stay here. They go over there and play for half a year, and then they come home. And the coaches who begin the process, whatever sport, you don't know the names of the people who are going to end up being pillars of the community and fill the important jobs in a community. But oftentimes, involving yourself, your children in sports and yourself in sports and supporting that, it does end up helping you become a better person. And then maybe you think a little bit more about serving the community and serving your city, as opposed to going home and watching Chernobyl, or in my case, Matlock. So there. By the way, I listened to Fast Car by Tracy Chapman on the way into work. Best song ever or best song ever?
Oh, it's definitely on the Rushmore. Not even a question about it. You know what song I listened to on the way in? Highwayman.
Oh.
Not bad, right?
What, are we switching roles here? What the hell?
A little bit.
There you go. Hi, guys. Oilers fans are fickle. Jarry pulled a Skinner in overtime, but everyone is pumped up. Jarry, fickle indeed, David. Well, I think you get a little bit of grace, right, David? Christian Jarry, he was in deep doo-doo no matter what happened, because the puck was in a particular spot. Didn't work out for him, but I'm not going to quarrel with how that turned out. He was aggressive. I'd like my players to be aggressive. Doesn't work out. It doesn't work. Remember, I'm not the one who wanted, Stuart Skinner sent out of town. I haven't looked at him lately, but I don't think he's been released yet. He's not playing in Europe yet. So some things must be going reasonably well. The coaches that are in it for the right reason feel fulfilled, and at the end of the year, they got a card that is signed by every kid on the team. Anything else is just icing on the cake from Skippy. There you go. But don't you find, like, I'm not going to get too involved in this, but, and maybe it's different in the world today. Maybe the world doesn't work like it used to. But I was involved in a few things in my time, in my community, and it was, people called it networking back then, which is an ugly word because it implies that you're just there to be selfish. But the people that you know, the things you hear about, hey, there's a new grocery store in town, whatever, those things come about when you are interacting with other people in your community. And yeah, job opportunities and, other opportunities make themselves available, but that's part and parcel of it, right? You do business with the people that you know and that you interact with. Chomsker says, Skinner's on fire. No, I was told by many thousands of Oilers fans that he was no good and that he would be, I think, in Europe. Oh, wait a minute. It was Europe next fall. So the fall of 2025, he'll be in Europe playing for a European team. I want to get this right. Well, his save percentage is .899 for the Pittsburgh Penguins, which was better than it was here, .891 this year. I think .899 might be just a hair below average this year. Connor Ingerman's at .904. Jari is at .878. Pickard's at .871. So Skinner is having a better year than Jari and Pickard, but we have to give a little bit of grace here. Tristan Jari, I thought, it's played pretty well. Oiler fans are absolutely viciously, maddeningly hard on goaltenders. So I don't think Tristan Jari is going to get any break, but we here at the good old Lowdown with Lowetide will give him at least a week to straighten up and fly right.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
In Connor McDavid's tenure here, do you think Tristan Jari is the most naturally talented goalie?
No. Okay. Cam Talbot was.
That'd be the name I figured most people would throw out.
I think Tristan Jari is a very good goaltender. And I think that people should give him like all of this year and next year before they crap on him, but that won't happen. It's Edmonton. And goaltenders, like last night, Jari made a mistake. He's no good, and the thing about goalies is that part of any sport and anything you play is confidence. So I hope they don't read the newspapers or anything online. Right? When you were boxing or swimming, confident was a big deal for you. You wanted to feel like, you were sleek and fast in the water and you were going to beat everybody with the breaststroke.
Ooh, I was a terrible breaststroker. But your point does stand. Boxing far more than swimming. Swimming's almost like, I don't know, you just get out there and you have fun with it.
How many great breaststrokers are in the world?
Right now?
Yeah.
Sure, there are many, but it is such a specialist stroke. Like the movement is so different than, your freestyle. I mean, butterfly is pretty separate from freestyle and backstroke as well. But breaststrokes like that, it's a really specific stroke. Like if you're a breaststroker, you're really nothing else.
Well, the thing about breaststroke is it when you watch it and you're just trying to identify what they're doing in the water, it looks like they're cramping up or they have a Charlie horse, right? Because they're like coming out of the water. Oh, maybe he's in pain, but then you realize that's the rhythm.
A little bit, yeah. It's also the slowest stroke too. So it's not one that people, because it's so different and it's the slowest. It's not one people generally gravitate towards. But if you have like a really good whip kick,
imagine somebody just tuning in for the last 15 seconds of this show and wondering what we're talking about. By the way, Connor McDavid had a birthday yesterday, 29, because Josh tweeted out my Connor McDavid content from a few weeks ago when he was cold and now he's gotten hot. People have said, you're wrong about McDavid. My overall point was that the studies show, really, really smart people with gigantic brains, huge heads, they show that the peak for an NHL player is 25 to 27. Now, when you're Connor McDavid, the downside, the backside of your career is going to be very, very slow downhill. The coda will take 15 years. But statistically, 25 to 27 is peak for NHL players, and Connor McDavid is 29. And that was the point that I was making. And the Oilers better be careful, and this is the other point I was making, because he's not going to be able to carry the team as he has done in the past, and he is doing now. And I think most people could agree with that. All right. What have you got coming up on Declinations there, sir?
Yeah, Duncan with Declan and jamming with Josh since it is Wednesday. Probably talk a little bit about the Raptors still having interest in AD. Josh is actually a Raptors fan. I'm not. I'll probably, we'll go over the headlines. We'll talk all things. Pardon?
So who do you cheer for?
Miami Heat.
Who
Never
won?
heard of this.
Who beat the Suns last night to go to 21-19 before they inevitably lose their next game to go 21-20 all the way until they're 42-40. I got one question before break. Sorry, I just wanted to ask this because it did come in on the text line. Did you guys have a problem with Jari coming out to play that puck?
No.
Yeah, me neither. Okay.
No, I want him to be aggressive. I want that play to get solved. It was bad luck. He did everything right. It just was bad luck. It hit a guy. Damn.
And you know what? Yossi scored from a pretty sharp. Now the cage was wide open, but it was a sharp.
Well, if Bouchard could play goal anyway. All right, on the way, rumors. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Made for Oil Kings Hockey and Ice District. Family fun that's second to none, starting at just $20 a seat.
This Saturday, your Edmonton Oil Kings face the Tri-City Americans at Rogers Place for the first time in 2 seasons.
The Oil Kings will be wearing a specialty fan-designed jersey that'll be auctioned and raffled off with proceeds going to charity.
Plus, score Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less.
The Edmonton Oil Kings get a rare visit from the Tri-City Americans, Saturday at 7.
Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20 at oilkings.ca.
Looking for the perfect gift? Give the gift of great taste with a Loca Quality Market gift card. Redeemable at any Loca Quality Market or Loca operated restaurant. It's a treat for food lovers. Ready anytime. Grab yours today at loca.ca.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Clear out the old and make room for new trends. The Brick is holding their store-wide inventory clearance event. Scratch and dent, last year's models, and overstock is up to 70% off. Score mattresses starting at just $99, sofas starting at just $399, and dining chairs starting at just $28. And this Friday to Monday, check out incredible 4-day deals, like save the tax when you buy 2 or more eligible major appliances. Check out The Brick in Edmonton with 4 locations. Some exclusions apply. See you in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Edmonton's only 24-hour-a-day sports radio station can be heard anytime, anywhere. Sports 1440 is streaming on your phone, your tablet, your computer. Download an app today and listen to Sports 1440.
Legacy Heating and Cooling sucks. Yeah, Legacy can now suck your ducts with professional duct cleaning, furnace cleaning, and dryer vent cleaning.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
When you need the filth sucked from your air ducts.
Call Legacy.
When you want cleaner air for your family.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Legacy now offers air duct cleaning. Book in today. Just call Legacy.
Across rural Alberta, volunteers and community groups work hard to make life better for their neighbors, creating new playgrounds, better rinks, and gathering places that bring us together. Vision Credit Union is proud to lend these local heroes a helping hand. Apply today for a Helping Hand grant up to $10,000 to support your community's next big idea. Let's make great things happen together. Applications are open until January 31st, 2026. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out at wolfgmcbuick.com. And we congratulate Declan on finding the 35 seconds worth of music by that young artist that we could actually play on commercial radio. Well done. Time for Rumors, presented by Great Canadian Solar. Brought to you by Great Canadian Solar. We believe you should create your own electricity. I can't see, apparently. Let's build a brighter, sustainable future with GreatCanadianSolar.com. You ever do that? You ever read and then you lose your spot and then you read this same thing that you read before? Could be a sign of aging. I like your haircut, by the way. Josh.
Mine? Oh.
No, Josh. Like Josh's haircut. I wish you could put a comb through it once in a while, though. Combs are good, Josh.
Al, I haven't had a haircut in 3 weeks.
Got a nice cut there.
Don't appreciate you doing this.
Have either of you had a hippie haircut yet? Like a really long hair, a freaky long hair, freak hippie look?
No. I've had long hair, but I haven't had it like that long.
Okay.
The hair I had this summer, that's about as long as it gets.
Just long? Did you style it long? Was it like long at the back, party at the back, or?
No, it was it was really not that long. It was thicker, but it just didn't go down far.
Yeah, it was like
it wasn't like touching my shoulders or anything.
Right. It was a giant mat on your head, is what it was.
Basically.
Yeah. All right. Perplexed Oilers fan said Oilers are ridiculously average. Winning percentage puts them at 17th in the league. Having McDavid for 3 more years and GM's poor job and eating only dad what was 2 seasons ago is annoying. Yeah. I mean, I think that there is a general belief that they punted Craig McTavish out of that job because they had to get the professionals in, and the professionals have wasted 11 years. I think you could say that out loud. Peter Chiarelli did not help this team. I believed he would. That's the truth. I said that. I was much more conservative about Holland and his possible success when he came in, and he certainly did better than Peter Chiarelli. But, they didn't win Stanley. They got close. They didn't win Stanley. And now we'll see for Stan Bowman. I don't like some of the moves Bowman's made, but I mean, hell, man, I think Connor Ingram is the goods. Vasily Podkolzin is the goods. Ty Emberson is really good. Kapanen was a waiver wire guy, and he's on the second line and playing well. I think Bowman is going to be very good. I don't think he has the resources because of an offer sheet that he maybe should have had. But having said that, I think if you're an Oiler fan and you feel like Bowman may have some answers the other two didn't, you could be right. I don't know that for sure. Claude says Jari made a mistake that cost us the game. No, I'm not going to say that. That's not a gaffe. That's the game is over. I might as well take this shot, and it didn't work. You just can't blame the goaltender for all the running around and the tired players that were on the ice and the missed passing, and nobody could get back in time. It's not like the goalie is looking at the puck. He's making a quick decision, and it was pretty good, except it hit a guy. I mean, please stop saying breaststroke. I'm so lonely. From Jay. Jay, thank you. Bouchard was slow to react on that play in overtime. Not Jari's fault. I know. That's what I've been telling you. If you're, and also, I know that it just feels like every goal that goes in by against Edmonton is somebody's fault, and no skill is given to the other side. And yet when the Oilers score, it's like, my God, these people are the best hockey players ever. So which is it? Does the other team have skill? I think Stamkos pretty good. Roman Josi, pretty good. All right. Way back when I was going to do rumors, so I'm going to do them now. Canadians have signed Alexander Texier to a 2-year extension. That's wild news because I felt not that long ago he was on his way to Europe. Erik Karlsson, who's been playing really well as an IR, and the Penguins have acquired or recalled Ryan Graves. Wanted to know about how badly high ankle sprains can impact a career. Check out Erik Karlsson. The Senators and the Oilers have had trade talks involving Andrew Mangiapane. And that's from David Pagnotta of the Fourth Period. I would not disclose how in-depth those conversations were or what else was involved, but Mangiapane is out there, and I didn't like the lineup that much last night. I feel like Curtis Lazar is building a little bit of a resume on the fourth line center job, and I like Ike Howard. But if they're showcasing a player, then I think you just have to say, okay, well, that's the cost of doing business. The Toronto Maple Leafs have been linked to Dougie Hamilton. That's a very astute move if they make it. That would be a really good get from them. They got like one guy who can pass the puck, and they got him on waivers, Troy Stecher. They have talent on that team. You just got to get him the puck. Jonathan Marchessault on injured reserve. And that's about all we have currently in the NHL. The Boston Red Sox have signed Ranger Suarez to a new deal. They've been trying to get deals done for position players, and it looks like they've checked down, at least for a time, to a pitcher. Maybe they'll end up making a trade, and one of the trades will be one of those young pitchers like Tolley or the lefty whose name I can't remember. Is your dad, has he started doing prep for the fantasy baseball league?
I can almost guarantee you he has not.
Now I feel bad. I assumed that everybody was out there ciphering and figuring out.
He's a busy guy, you know. He puts thought into it. Obviously,
is he retired now? He must be by now.
No,
independently.
My dad's not even 55 yet.
I know, but he's independently wealthy.
It's just okay.
You know, all I know is he bought me lunch.
Yeah,
you know,
independently wealthy. That for sure makes sense. He buys me dinner, writes it off as a business expense to his company.
So the Steelers have requested head coach interviews with Chris Shula from the Rams. Any thoughts on that? I know it's hard to know, you know, how these guys will work out if it's their first coaching job. No thoughts on that?
Sorry, no. Absolutely. Yeah, Chris Shula. I like what he does as a coordinator. I do think it's kind of like there's still kind of some of those lingering effects. Like anyone who's had a cup of coffee with Sean McVay is going to get an opportunity, deserved or not. Like more often than not, it is deserved. But there's certainly a difference in being like some guys are just built to be coordinators. And I'm not saying Shula is one of the guys who falls into that category. He probably isn't. He probably is more built for a head coach. But I don't know. It's, you know, never done it before. We got to see what it looks like.
I would like to derail the show, if I may.
Go ahead.
All right. Oftentimes, a very successful coach will have something called a coaching tree. And there'll be 4 or 5 brilliant coaches who are assistants under him, and then they'll go and coach for a few years, and some of their assistants will end up head coaching. And some of these trees are quite impressive. Mike Tomlin doesn't really have that.
No, he doesn't. That's been another criticism against him.
Can we come up with, was everybody loyal, or did nobody do an outstanding job?
Well, this is kind of one of those things, right? Like I talked about it earlier. Like this is one of the things that kind of works against him. Like when he won a Super Bowl, it was Cowher's team and he did it with Cowher's coordinators. And then as he kind of developed a tree and stayed there for as long as he did, none of his coordinators really ever, like I'm trying to think, was there ever one who went on to become a successful head coach? Like, no, there wasn't, right? I'm not missing anybody.
I don't think so. But someone had to leave because then they had Matt Canada. And Matt Canada was awful.
He was bad.
I don't think I've seen a fan base of people more upset with anyone than Steelers fans were with Matt Canada.
Is Jeff Saturday the strangest name in football history?
Probably not, but yeah, I'll tell you what, he was the strangest interim head coach ever.
That was so wild. No, I don't even think that cracks like the top 50 strangest names in football history.
The coolest name was DeBrickshaw Ferguson.
That is a cool name.
DeBrickshaw Ferguson.
Yeah. Mercury Morris, when I was a kid, was a great name. I like that name. Best baseball name ever? Vida Blue. You can't do better than that. It's poetry.
I hate to be that guy. I think the best baseball name is Babe Ruth.
I think that's astute, accurate.
The current best, if it's not Shohei Ohtani, it's Kodai Senga. That's a great name.
Yeah, not to be that guy, but Ellie De La Cruz.
Well, you're just he's your guy. That's favoritism.
Yeah,
that is favoritism. I'm pretty sure it's Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah,
is the coolest name.
Yeah, Shohei.
Yogi Berra was a good name. Though.
Yeah, it is.
That's a great name.
You know, he grew up in the same neighborhood as Joe Garagiola.
I did not know that.
Do you know who Joe Garagiola is?
Old friend of yours?
He was on NBC Game of the Week forever. Tim says, my dad is a Claude. Do you pronounce it Claude or Claude? I pronounce it Claude because Claude LaRose was a player in the NHL when I was a kid, and that's how Danny Gallivan said it. And when I became a Catholic, Father Claude was his name. I went through RCIA and all of that. So the Claudes that I've met and the hockey card Claude were Claude, but that's me. What do you guys say?
Claude.
I say Claude Giroux, but I say Claude Lemieux.
Okay.
So it changes. It's
Right.
dependent.
I normally just say Claude. Like that's where my initial thought goes to.
Yeah. This brings me back to the
If I read it as Claude.
the most unusual name that I have experienced in some form or other of somebody that I've met is Guy Flaming. See, Guy is French, Guy is English, but Flaming is English. So he's French-English, Guy Flaming. It should be Guy Flaming or something like that, right?
See, when I read Guy, like as a name,
right,
I read it as Guy.
Right.
But when I know, oh, he's just a guy, I'm not like, oh, he's just a Guy. That's a guy.
Right.
But anytime it's a name, I always guess it's.
But don't you think if your first name is Guy, then your second name should be stylized in the French way, the Quebecois French way?
So you'd like to think that, wouldn't you?
I would.
Yeah.
And I've called Guy out on it.
But it's wrong. And then take the inverse, Guy Fieri. His first name is Guy, and then his last name is super nice.
The English language was designed to torment people. Can we agree?
Well, because what's that saying? The English language is just 4 languages dressed up in a trench coat telling you what its name is in a different language.
That's probably true. Lefty Grove, that's a great name. Stubby Clap is a great name. Lowetide sounds like Sens and Oilers have talked Mangiapane. What do you think of Hayden Hodgson? If Kings and Oilers would deal, maybe Jeff Malott. I don't think anything of these players because I don't really, have the lowdown on them. I can look it up and tell you, but I honestly think it's going to be Andrew Mangiapane and a 5th for nothing. Hodgson's been around for a long time, 29 years old. I would say he is a ruffian, which is a word we don't use much anymore. Do you use the word ruffian often, gentlemen? No, of course not.
Actually, that's a lie. I use it in D&D.
Who wins in D&D? Is it like the Davis Cup? Nobody wins?
There's not a thing. Nobody wins. You just you all get together and you tell a story together. And that's the beauty of it.
So what's the most pleasing thing in like if you rip off a funny verbal, does everybody go, "Oh wow, yes, that's very nice"?
Yeah, that'll happen sometimes. Or like the biggest one, it's like when you're in combat. It's all dice related, right?
Yeah.
So 20-sided dice, 20-sided die. My apologies. If you roll a 20, that's what they call a crit. You critical,
right?
So it's very satisfying. And then on like as that goes on, you kill someone on a critical, and like it's the end of a big combat. People say, "How do you want to do this?" That you just love hearing those words.
When you kill somebody, like a carrot, can you slice them up and make food?
Sure.
Okay.
Listen, it's a game of cause and effect. You can really do whatever you want, but you just have to be willing to accept the consequences after the fact.
Could you organize all of these critters into some kind of football game?
I mean, theoretically, you'd have to teach them what football is, but you could get there.
I'll get Declan.
The real Dungeons and Dragons are the friends we made along the way.
This is entirely true. The memories we made.
All right. When are you doing declinations? An hour from now?
Yeah, 1:40.
And it's Duncan with Declan and Hodgepodge with Josh.
Yeah,
Something like
Duncan
that.
with
Right.
Declan, jamming with Josh.
And we have Kevin McCurdy coming up. I want to ask him about the third and fourth lines. We're getting tired of writing about the third and fourth lines, but it's what people want to talk about. So you write what people will read and converse about. Any trade talk concerning Mangiapane should be short. If you want him, he's yours. Give us whatever you want, even a box of Twinkies from Ken. I'm sure Mangiapane's not driving down the road listening to this. He's a hell of a player. He's having a poor year, but you will back me up on this. Mangiapane has had a really good career.
Yeah. I think the last 2 years have been underwhelming for everybody, but like all things considered.
But he didn't come here thinking, well, I'll stink up the joint for a year and then I'll, go somewhere else. He wasn't.
That's not what all professional athletes think.
No.
I'm just going to come to muck everything up.
Man, you believe you're good at Dungeons & Dragons. We don't have any idea if you are.
I'm very good at it.
Okay. All right. It's 12:38. We're going to talk more about the Edmonton Oilers on the way. And Kevin McCurdy at 1 o'clock. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
Seriously, another door knocker? I really want to go solar, but these high-pressure tactics are exhausting.
And their prices are unbelievable. Before we do anything, let's call Great Canadian Solar.
There's a better way to go solar. Great Canadian Solar provides honest advice and fair pricing to save you from overpaying. They're easy to deal with and will never put pressure on you to buy. As a trusted local business for over 15 years, Great Canadian Solar will support you in your solar journey. Visit greatcanadiansolar.com and call today to get started.
Wing Wednesday at First Round. Whether you're coming for the first round, the last round, or a few rounds in between, they've got you covered. With half-price wings every Wednesday night. Half-price wings. Over 35 delicious flavors like Cajun salt and pepper, maple bacon, and Inferno wings. Now half price every Wednesday night. Wash them down with a cold pint of Canadian or Coors Light for only $5.75. Half price Wing Wednesdays at First Round in West Ed and now downtown. First Round, burgers, beer, sports.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business, and for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Across rural Alberta, volunteers and community groups work hard to make life better for their neighbors, creating new playgrounds, better rinks, and gathering places that bring us together. Vision Credit Union is proud to lend these local heroes a helping hand. Apply today for a Helping Hand grant up to $10,000 to support your community's next big idea. Let's make great things happen together. Applications are open until January 31st, 2026. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
For almost half a century, families, farmers, and mechanics across Alberta have trusted Ed's Auto Salvage in Westlock. Why? Because we know cars and we know value. Hi, Lisa here. And whether it's keeping your work truck hauling or getting your teenager's first car back on the road, Ed's has the parts you need at prices you can afford. Reliable, affordable, local. That's Ed's Auto Salvage. With province-wide shipping and daily delivery to Edmonton, visit us at edsautosalvage.com.
But I've been forgotten, I've been married a long time.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. That song will not die. We're brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. I used to play that in Oilers games all the time. Did you know that?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Why would I know that?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's lore. What did they play at the Saddle Dome?
I don't know. I haven't been to the Saddle Dome since I was 5.
Wow.
Can't hear the music.
People put the Saddle Dome down. I've seen concerts there. The sound's not fab. And I've seen lots of great hockey, a Russia-Canada game, lots of Flames games. Folks have fun there. It's a really kind of fun atmosphere.
Well, I haven't been to the Dome for a Flames game since I was 5, I guess, because I did go for a
Luke Bryan concert.
Roughnecks game.
Okay. Roughnecks are fun.
They're super. I love lacrosse. So
there's a game coming up.
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
The Unboxed. We had a guest on the Carrier show like 3 months ago.
Are you
talking
going?
About it. I'm going to see if I can get tickets.
Because if you go, could you give us let us know the atmosphere?
Sure.
Okay. Give us an update.
This is, yeah, sure.
I was involved a little bit with the Rush, with the early promotion of the games and stuff, and they did everything right. I mean, the first game, you went to the first Edmonton Rush game, you got about a $100 jersey.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Good way to start it, though, because then you have a jersey, and it's like, well, clearly I have to go back.
And anybody who had kids went back like tons because it's such a great, fun sport for kids.
We had season tickets for like 3 years or something, I think. And I went to a lot of the Rush games because they have a lot of games going on, right? Like it's that was always really fun. And it was a nice, like, in between sort of thing because like Christmas would happen and what have you. And then in like January, February, these games start up again.
Saskatoon robbed Edmonton on that.
It's unreal that like they're just like, no, all right, we're moving. But I know that it was a whole thing. It
was a whole thing, yeah.
It was a whole thing.
It was a whole thing.
Moving into the Rogers Place and stuff.
Humboldt Trent says, funniest was Don Cherry pronouncing Patrick Waugh as sounding like Roy Rogers. Was that a sneeze?
No, you know what that was?
What?
That was crazy. I was fading the stack back up at the end of the song. Song had been clicked off of the stack, but there were still some residuals of it playing.
Remnants and roll ends of a song. Okay.
Yeah, very strange. My bad.
I would never criticize Don Cherry or anybody else about pronunciation of names. You could search the world over, and you would never find a more hideous individual in terms of pronouncing names. Victor Faust almost ended my career. And I have made major mistakes pronouncing names. And I try to, like, if we have a guest, I really try to, get it right. Which reminds me of, I think I have time. In 1972, Canada was enveloped in the Canada-Russia series. It was, the Bruins won the Stanley Cup, and then right after that, all we talked about from May to September was the Canada-Russia series to come. John Ferguson provided scouting reports for Maclean's magazine. It was really good on all the players. He kind of faded Tretiak, which was a mistake, but it was really good stuff. And in that Maclean's article that kind of allowed John Ferguson to give a thumbnail sketch of Valerie Harlamov, Kapustin, and all those cats, was a brilliant comic, like one frame comic. And it was Foster Hewitt trying to pronounce Ivan Cornwallis's name. And it was like, and it's Corny, anyway, Tagusagov just scored. And I remember, you ever remember something because it was so funny you never forget? That moment I will always remember. I don't remember the individual. Wish I did. Make it much more effective if I did. But whoever did that was brilliant. Is there any chance you guys could organize a fundraiser for charity which involves streaming Lowetide at the table for a session of Dungeons and Dragons? I wouldn't be any good at it. I've never played. I grew up. We were convinced that Ouija boards and Dungeons and Dragons were the devil, so we didn't do it. Which is too bad because I love to talk, and I think it's a talking game. Howard, McDavid, Hyman, Draisaitl, Podkolzin, Kapanen, Nuge, Savoy, Roslovic, Lazar, Janmark, Frederick. Pick a winger for McDavid and Hyman, not named Nuge. That's the third line fix. I know, Propane Pimp. I've been writing about it for 2 years now, and they keep flip-flopping. But you're right. It's the way to go. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that it isn't, the Nuge, McDavid, Hyman line, but he's needed at third line center. He really is. He's really, 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 really needed there. Because, they're not developing a scorer in Savoy. They're developing a little small checker, which is not terribly worthwhile in the playoffs. They're just out of time. The Stones have a song called Out of Time, and that's where the Oilers are with the third and the fourth line right now. Kevin McCurdy is going to solve it all for us at 1 o'clock. I cannot wait. I'd give up a 5th-round pick and nothing to move Mangiapane as soon as possible, perplexed Oilers fan. Yeah, I know. I said a version of that earlier, but, I'm just, the professional hockey players, and I know they're being played really well, but I don't think it certainly doesn't give me license to come on here and just rip them and make them seem like they're not trying or they're not professionals, because they clearly are. Gents, Rod Phillips used to butcher a Nordique named Bob Gwindon. He tried saying it like a French person, pronouncing it Jean Don. He should have stuck with Gwindon as a pronunciation, like my cousins do. Loved it. Not the goalie Rolly. Thank you for that. I love Rod. I worked with Rod, and Rod made me laugh. I can't tell jokes that Rod told me when I was 20, but he did, and I laughed so hard. I to this day, I can think of the punchline and giggle like an idiot. But he used to call Yari Curry Yaddy Curry, and it just drove me nuts. And Rod was a fantastic radio play-by-play guy. Like, he really was. He was so good at taking a moment and crystallizing it for you. Like in the preseason one year, a young man named Tony Hand was having a great game. It was early on, and never played with the Oilers, but he was having a great preseason game for the Oilers. And Rod was talking, he was excited about it. He goes, this young man, and he did the whole story about him. And he said, if he keeps doing this, they're going to find some place for him to play. And they tried to, but he wanted to go home. But the point was that Rod, with the excitement in his voice and the sense of the moment, he was able to create some actual lore out of a guy who was small and was never going to make the National Hockey League. I love that stuff. But he said Yadi Curry, and it drove me crazy. My French-Canadian father used to yell at the TV every time they announced Belanger. How are you supposed to say Belanger? Bellinger? Mark Bellinger was a shortstop for the Orioles when I was a kid. But I don't think you can get away with that in Canada. Calling a hockey game, we're talking about hockey. Eric Bellinger won't cut it. People won't know what you're talking about. Hi, LT and crew. Bob mentioned on the television broadcast we have a really good, promising goalie with the Condors. If he's good, I hope we never trade him because he might be another Wolf. Yeah, Connor Unger is an interesting player, and what's even more interesting is the Oilers seem to be taking notice. The Oilers, since time eternal, have been very interested in big goaltenders, like large men, 6'5", 220. How big was Kapanen? Or Koskinen.
I think he was 6'7".
Yeah. So they signed Koskinen even though he had a crappy glove. Like they're just, he's a big, everything will hit him, which was not true. Especially the first goal of the game. But anyway, this Unger fellow is listed at 6 foot 205. That is not a small man unless you're an NHL goalie. And he is lighting it up. He's played in 5 games in the AHL, .953 save percentage. And he was so valuable, they were loaning him out in the ECHL. He played with Fort Wayne for 2 games, had a .944 save percentage. Fort Wayne is affiliated with the Condors, who are the Oilers' AHL affiliate. Then they sent him to the Greensboro Gargoyles. What a great name. 4 games, .945. And then the Orlando Solo Bears, .944 save percentage in 5 games. So he hasn't been under .944 this year, and he's at .953 in the AHL. But he's undersized. The Oilers may be paying attention. I can give you examples of players who came up from the AHL, Ken Dryden, and won the Stanley Cup. It's possible. I think Rogie Vachon came up and lost the final, but played well. Montreal Canadiens. What's the funniest name of a sports team in the minor leagues? I have mine, but I'm wondering if you guys have yours.
I don't know about minor leagues, but as far as college, the UC Santa Cruz Banana Slugs.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah.
That
I always liked the Nebraska Cornhuskers. That's a good name. Funny name.
In about 1982, the Houston Astros had a team, A-ball team, I believe, or rookie ball, one of the two. Doesn't matter. In Florida. And they were called the, Bradenton Astros, right? And they decided that they were going to move them to Kissimmee, Florida. And so they held a press conference. And the first question was, what are you going to call the team? And the general manager says, we're going to call them the Kissimmee Astros. And then they changed it and called it the Florida Astros. But that's my funny name. Can you imagine in today's world, a PR department letting that get to, the press conference? There's no way. But back in the old days,
people were allowed to have fun.
Well, a little bit, yeah. Ken says, I recall Rod calling a fight with Semenko, and he said Semenko just handed him a can of whoop ass. Almost died laughing. Cheers from Ken. Rod, as a caller of games, was truly unique. And I, I loved listening to him. And I miss that, because back then lots of radio games weren't on television. So you had to, have your mind's eye. You're listening to the game, and Leif Oglin is, throttling somebody. So you have to visualize that. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed baseball as well. For the same reason on radio. This may be me rambling. I'm not sure. Kevin McCurdy is on the way. We're going to talk about the Edmonton Oilers to the 3rd and 4th lines and what to do about these young players who are not scoring at 5-on-5. We'll have declinations and joshing around with Josh at 1:40 today, and more of your comments about last night's game and the Oilers moving forward. This is the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. It's time for an update with Declan Krueger.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Custom Floors Inc. Floors done right for homes and businesses. Visit the new showroom, 11577 149th Street. Open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 to 2. You can also visit customfloorsinc.ca and bring your next flooring project to life. 4 games today in the NHL. Seattle and New Jersey at 5. Philly and Buffalo at 5:30. Ottawa and the Rangers at the same time in the late game in the league. We'll see the Vegas Golden Knights in LA to take on the Kings. In the NBA, Toronto Raptors kicking off the day's action on the road in Indiana. 5 p.m. tip for that one. Line for that one currently 2.5 for the Raps. Cleveland and Philly will also go at 5 in the nationally televised game, as will Denver and Dallas at 7:30. The line for that one, Dallas -1.5 at home. Edmonton Oil Kings in action in the WHL as they play host to the Medicine Hat Tigers tonight. 7 p.m. puck drop down at Rogers Place. And in the AJ, 2 games, Bonnyville and Lloydminster, and Devon and Whitecourt. News from around the sporting world. The Canadian men's soccer team will host Uzbekistan on June 1st in Edmonton as part of the final preparations for the FIFA World Cup. Game at Commonwealth Stadium will be the penultimate warm-up for the 27th ranked Canadian men. Winnipeg Jets head coach Scott Arniel announced a trio of injuries to the team's blue line today, telling reporters defenseman Hayden Fleury, Neil Pionk, and Colin Miller are all out week to week. In the football world, Art Rooney has suggested Aaron Rodgers is done with the Steelers, saying, quote, Aaron came here to play for Mike. And finally, Mark Stein reporting the Toronto Raptors are one of the teams that maintain interest in Anthony Davis, who is out for several months with ligament damage in his hand. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
I'm Grant Fedork from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and people who suffer brain fog might think it's just going to be part of their life. But listen, I've seen a 38-year-old mom managing a concussion read her kid a bedtime story without losing the plot, all because of cognitive rehab that rewires the brain like a GPS reboot. Your brain isn't broken, it's buffering. One missed beat in focus, memory, or balance snowballs into frustration, falls, or forgotten keys. Stroke, concussion, long COVID, even aging can all lead to brain fog. Cognitive rehab works. Check us out at leadingedgephysio.com before your next "where'd I put my phone" moment.
I skipped breakfast this morning. Stay out of my way.
Don't threaten me with your bad choices.
No worries. A booster bar from Booster Juice will fix me.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, because they're new. Snack-sized bars packed with seeds, pecans, gluten-free oats, all sorts of good stuff.
That sounds lovely, actually.
2 different flavors to try, too. Coconut pecan booster bars and harvest booster bars. Want to skip breakfast with me?
I take it back. You make good choices.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
What sports talk on the go?
You can listen to 1440 on the AM dial or stream us on your mobile device through apps like Radio Player, iHeart, and Stingray Music.
Edmonton sports fans,
turn to Sports 1440.
1440.
Are you looking for safe and professional transportation solutions for your group events and sports teams? Look no further than Silent Rides, Alberta's premier charter bus company. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca. Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
When your driveway's covered in snow, Toro and the Lawnmower Hospital have you covered. Toro's gas or battery-powered single-stage power clear snowblowers make it easy to clear right down to the concrete with incredible Toro-powered Propel technology. Face the next snow day without fear thanks to Toro and the Lawnmower Hospital. Visit lawnmowerhospital.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Here's the lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick, family owned and community driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. What a great song. And in the interest of fair play, we should play It's Raining Men by the Weather Girls in the next bumper coming out of the next break. because then everybody's covered, right? We're joined now by our friend Kevin McCurdy to talk about the Edmonton Oilers. Kevin, how are you?
I'm doing well, Alan. How are you doing this week?
I'm good. Road trip, they got 304 points, but there are some things that fans are unhappy about. So maybe we should start with you giving me your opinion about last night and the other road game, and how the Oilers are looking right now.
They looked tired last night. I don't think that the schedule has really done them a favor this week, but overall, I don't know. I wasn't particularly happy with how that game was played last night, but they looked all right against Chicago. Just there are lots of little things. Just playmaking was really suspect yesterday.
I felt like, and I run the numbers every night, but Ekholm and Bouchard never have a game where they are, their shot metrics are as poor at 5-on-5 as there were 2 and 11 shots, 0-1 goals, 19 expected goals, 0-3 high dangers. They're just, it is blue rare for them to be that, far away from it. And I wonder, I don't want to put too fine a point on. I'm not yelling at the coach to be fired. I'm just wondering if maybe one of the problems with the third and fourth lines and maybe some of the other pairings is that they're relying too much maybe on the top end, and they get to a game like last night and they are just out of gas in the third period.
Yeah, I mean, you got Connor McDavid playing 26 minutes in a game in January against one of the worst teams in the league. To be fair, there's two sides to that coin. If you look at the analytics last night, Knoblauch was getting absolutely nothing out of the bottom six, like less than nothing. Trent Frederick was, after having a really good game, the previous game, put up 1.89% expected goals for at even strength. Like, I don't know what the coach is supposed to do but sit him at that point, right? And I get that, you got to give guys a chance, but I understand why he's making some of the decisions he's making. You sometimes have to wonder if there's been a real disconnect between where Chris Knoblauch is at and where Stan Bowman is at in terms of roster construction and what the intent for roster design was and how that's actually being implemented in terms of on-ice performance.
I go back to just before the season started. Stan Bowman goes out and gets some wingers. Everything looks normal in preseason. And then like 2 days before the start of the season, Chris Knoblauch says, we're going to play Draisaitl and McDavid together. And for me, it was a kind of either a tone deaf rejection of Stan Bowman's work over the summer, or there was, the McDavid and Draisaitl said maybe we could play together or something like that. Because all the planning that you do in preseason is thrown out the window. It just felt wrong-headed, and I'm not here to say that Chris Knoblauch isn't a smart guy. He is, and I'm not saying he's a poor coach, but those decisions felt like they maybe weren't by the coach because of the way the coach had handled the team up until that point. And since then, I've had the same feeling from time to time.
Yeah, I think what I'm trying to be tempered in my response to it, just because it seems to be very chaotic right now in terms of like their success or lack thereof on a game by game basis. Like the Oilers of old, we would see them go on these, ridiculous winning streaks, and they haven't strung together 3 wins in a row this season yet, right? Like, they're one of 2 teams, the last I checked, in the league that hasn't won 3 games in a row this year. And that's really inconsistent even by their standards, right? Like, and I don't know. I don't know how one pulls out of that, if you can blame any one factor, but they're sure looking like there's some rough edges on this team still.
Do you sense that, because, I mean, I watch the goal, I like both goalies they have now, but I like Skinner too, and I like Pickard, so I'm the wrong guy to ask. But I like Jari's effort. I really coming to like Connor Ingram. I got to say, he's got calm feet. The Kevlar rebounds are at a minimum. Mm-hmm. And it seems like he's comfortable in there playing in front of the Oilers. What's your take on the goalie so far?
I like Connor Ingram's play style a lot. He's a good first read on the puck, and they've been letting him have his first read for the most part, which I think is admirable from a coaching perspective. I think they play pretty well in front of him. I think he's more cut out for NHL hockey than he is for AHL hockey. I don't think he does as well in the chaotic, broken environment that is the AHL. But in like highly structured hockey like NHL, I think he's a really good candidate to at least be the backup. I have Pickard as the organizational third right now, pending the further development of Connor Unger. Um, I don't know. I actually didn't hate the play in overtime. I think the play wasn't necessarily bad. I think the support that he got after he made the play on the puck was not sufficient. Like his team didn't have his back when he went and made the ballsy play out in the middle of nowhere. And if, frankly, if somebody had picked that up, they might have had a different outcome.
Yeah, I'm
I,
with you. I'm with you on that. I think I want him to make that play.
Yeah, I don't think it was the wrong play. I just think that in the entire situation combined together was the wrong outcome. Um, I like Jerry. I think we're kind of stuck with him at this point, so better get on board because I haven't seen anything to dislike him. I just hope his durability is where it needs to be for him to be consistent number one for this team. It's great to see Stu Skinner have success with Pittsburgh. I'm really happy for him. I know that he was much maligned around here with two very discrete camps of love him and hate him. And I think it was time for a change for him for no other reason than to get him into a different environment. And I'm glad to see him flourish in that environment. And I hope that he can continue that success with his new team for the foreseeable future. I think Pickard's that organizational third. He's been reliable. He's well known as the comedian of the room and someone that brings light when there some days isn't any. But I'm not sure that that's enough to keep an NHL roster spot in 2026. So I would expect him to be the organizational third pretty quickly.
You mentioned young Kevin McCurdy, our guest on Sports 1440 and the Lowdown with Lowetide. You mentioned Connor Unger. Interesting, development. This is a guy who signed out of Canadian College. He has, some interesting experience in his past. Resume is strong, but he's at 944 or better with like 4 different teams this year and playing well in the AHL. He's undersized for a goalie, and the Oilers like the big guys. That's why they signed Mikko Koskinen. What are your thoughts on Unger? And just so we're clear, the number he is producing right now in Bakersfield is jaw-dropping. 953 is a massive, massive number for a goaltender's save percentage.
Especially in the chaotic, broken environment like the AHL, right? Like it's good hockey, don't get me wrong, but it's not got quite the same finesse. It's a game of mistakes, even more so in the AHL than it is in the NHL. And I'm really impressed by what little I've seen of him so far. I won't be surprised if they continue to, if they look at getting him a look at some point this season, just to see if he can continue those numbers at this level or if that regresses a little bit in this environment. But man, what's not to like about that story? If you compare him and Logan Thompson, those resumes look awfully similar to each other for some reason.
It'd be amazing for the Oilers to get lightning in a bottle and get a guy, like a real guy. I mean, after all these, I remember when Steve Passmore was the answer. He wasn't, but he was. And that would have been like 30 years ago. So it would be nice to get one if you're an Edmonton Oilers fan, because the genesis of the NHL Oilers was Moog Fuhrer, and it felt like they'd never have to worry about goaltending ever. That has not, as it turned out, been the case. I wanted to ask a little bit your point of view about Wallman and coming into the lineup and the fact that they kept Nurse and Emerson together. Nurse and Emerson's numbers were very good, not being critical of it, but I thought they'd go Nurse Wallman. Do you think there's some traction there with Nurse Emerson?
If they can keep holding the numbers, yeah. I mean, you look at Corsi for last night at evens, and Nurse played 20 minutes and was 23 and 11 with 62% expected goals for. Like, if Nurse can hold those numbers for more than 5 consecutive seconds, then you do whatever it takes to make that happen. Emberson has been a bit of a surprise for me this year. I think that he's elevated his game some. I think he plays smart hockey, and sometimes you wish for a little more playmaking, but I think overall he's seen solid year-over-year improvement. So I'm interested to see him develop a little bit more, and I'm hopeful that the team can find a partner for Nurse that they can reliably stick with him and get some consistent results out of. And because that has been a struggle for years now, borderline a decade, where they haven't been able to find a partner that he can reliably produce with. So if Emberson is the answer, then, all bets ahead, but I won't be surprised if they put Jake Wallman back there at some point.
I've said, and I believe that this is the year where the Oilers have to mature as an organization. And by that, I mean, if Wallman, Stastny are playing better than Bouchard, or Nurse and Emerson, then they have to deploy Wallman, Stastny as the second pairing and fade Nurse. Because you are trying to eliminate mistakes, and Nurse is like, he's not a shutdown defenseman. He's got more 5-on-5 offense than I think people believe he does, but a lot of that comes off of a pretty strong shot. And he is a guy who can, like Bouchard, make mistakes, and they can be costly. Do you agree the organization at some point in time has to stand and deliver on the idea that you play your top 4 defensemen, whoever name they are, no matter how much their salary is or how long they've been here?
Yeah, absolutely. I do think that they should look at splitting Ekholm and Bouchard up and actually rejigging their pairs with those guys on different pairings. I don't think that that's a specific critique of Nurse so much as it is just a general analytical observation. But Blue Bullet Brad McPherson on Twitter, uh, has a tweet here that says, since 23-24 and 453 minutes of play, Nurse has 58% goals for and 63% expected goals for at 5v5 when paired with either of Bouchard or Ekholm.
Yeah,
so maybe your solution is to break up your top pair and to actually float some of that skill through the lineup.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And I think they may have to do that with Nuge on the top line too, but we've talked that to death. I really like Alec Regula. I don't know that he's going to get there by playoff time. And by that, I mean, get there as a guy who is going to replace Emerson and maybe even, qualify as the 7th guy. Do you think there's a little bit of a pressure point there if they need to upgrade at number 7 defense? Will they? Or do you like Regula's long-term future enough to hold him in hand as the 7th defenseman as they head towards the playoffs?
I think they're more likely to. Apparently, I'm having some internet connectivity issues here, LT. So
I haven't noticed.
Okay.
Yeah, are you on dial-up, Kevin?
Yeah, no, I got a new computer today, so I'm just working the technical kinks
Big money,
out.
boy. There you go.
No, it's just a change of work facilities. Anyhow, it's hard to say. I like Regula a lot. I think he is an excellent breakout defenseman. I think he has a sensational mind for where to put the puck and how to make smart, calm breakouts. In that way, he's the polar opposite of Vinny Desharnais. But he does have some skating issues, and he does have risk recognition issues on the defensive side of the puck. And I do want to see him bulk up a little bit more and not get pushed off the puck quite as much as I've seen him get pushed off thus far. I think his skating is going to be the barrier that makes or breaks him as an NHL defenseman. If he's able to further improve his foot speed and his skating overall, I think there's a very good chance that you're looking at least a number 6 or number 5 defenseman, and more likely a number 4 defenseman. But he has some growth to do in that area, and we have to see his play improve a little bit.
Right.
I'm not sure that he would clear waivers, even in his current tumultuous state.
I have a tech question for you. Do you have time?
Sure, why not?
Okay. I'm on a couple of different Slack things, and the last few days I got an update. I hate them. And it's telling me that my system is outdated and I'm no longer going to be able to go onto that site and read it with clarity. Do I
Mhm.
have to change my computer or can I change the system I'm in?
You can potentially change the system you're in, but I'd have to know a few more details, and maybe we can connect offline and figure that out for you.
Okay. And I also want to know what is larger, 2 square miles or 2 miles square, but we don't have to do that now.
That's gonna make my brain hurt today. So
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.
have a good week, everyone.
There you go. Kevin McCurdy. Do you jokers know what that means about the operating system? Have you ever had that? No. Do you just get rid of your computer after 2 years so you don't have to worry about that stuff?
No.
All right. Really loving the communication between us today. It's just really, the flow is so good.
I've had my computer, my personal laptop forever, and it like definitely time for a new one.
When I only have trouble when the blasted thing updates.
Yeah, I'm not a tech computer guy. I wish I was.
At a certain point, your stuff just gets old. That's just the way it is.
You sound like my son. Yeah, he's my tech guy.
And sometimes he says to you, sometimes things just get old and that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Like, how old
Well,
is
he
your
starts
laptop?
by saying, "What did you do?"
Naturally.
Like in a really condescending way.
Of course.
You know.
Like a son would.
Right.
Exactly. How old is your laptop?
Oh, I don't know. 5 years.
Yep. It's about the life cycle, I would say. Like my phone is 5 years old, and that means it's about 3 years too old.
I do so much typing on my computer that the keys get worn. So probably there's a few things that I have to do.
Might just be time for a new one.
This
is the way it is.
Yeah, I understand.
That's okay.
I understand. What are we having for supper? I need ideas.
I don't know.
Chris, you're at a bar. You'll have a steak sandwich.
I'm not working at the bar tonight. I don't
You
work.
sleep there, don't you?
No.
You and Luke Bryan.
No. Although Wing Wednesday tonight, so I think I might go up
nice.
for wings.
What about you, Declan? What are you having for supper tonight?
That's crazy. My mic was off. Not sure. Probably going to be late dinner. Soccer is back tonight.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
8:15 kickoff.
When you said notch, I thought it was going to be nachos, and now I'm disappointed.
Oh,
All
I
right.
could do that.
There you go. Declination's on the way in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Coming up next, though, we're going to talk about the Oilers, their game last night, and to look ahead for the next few days. Got a long, long home stretch. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about
Should mention that there's an addition to the McDavid family. The McDavid's niece Holly had a baby girl today. The name is Beckham. So now 2 January 13 babies in the family.
Score. Leon Draisaitl buries it against UC Saros, and just like that, we are tied at 2. With this one-timer by Leon Draisaitl on cue, Gino. And just good work at the corner again to come up with this puck. It's a Hopkins has 6 this season on the man advantage. He'll dish off, get it back. McDavid. Hyman, I believe, lunged and punched that home for his second power play.
with Lowetide on Sports 1440. For Wolf GMC Buick, check it out, wolfgmcbuick.com. We're just a little ahead of declinations and just joshing around at 140 as we do a little bit of dunking. Yeah, a little basketball. Bob Cole and Rod Phillips were perfection for me, says Randall. Well, I was very lucky. I was in my mid-20s when I met John Short and Rod Phillips and all those guys, Ken Brown. And it was a blast. It was just, a really, really cool time to be around the CFRN had the Oilers rights. So there were, Oilers and Eskimos trucking into the Scotty Olsen because John was big into boxing. Willie DeWitt and others as well. So, I'd get off the air and I'd go into the lounge area and Hugh Campbell would be there. Really good guy. It was pretty cool. It was a real education. Who's the coolest person you've met at a radio station?
You'd be up there.
Oh, come on.
Hey, I'm just saying.
I'm talking like really like you're. One time I was walking up the stairs at the old building and Robbie Krieger, the guy who wrote Light My Fire, was coming up down the stairs. And I met him, talked to him. He's like 5'5". That's cool.
For me, probably Rose Namajunas.
Yeah. I remember you were pretty excited about that.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Dude, it might like the coolest person I've met. Like Radomski is pretty cool. Like Kevin Radomski.
Yeah.
But
pretty nails.
But like, I don't know. Very short amount of time here. Not a lot of people.
Right.
Meeting Husks from the text line when he came in to pick up a prize. That was really cool. That was awesome.
I've
He was
only
a
met
great guy.
Struddy one time.
You guys are really hurting Sean Brown's feelings right now.
Sean Brown is very cool.
Brownie is really cool. Brownie's cool.
I interviewed him years and years ago. He and Strudwick, like separate times. And both of them said the same thing, that when they went to Europe to play after their NHL careers, their enjoyment of hockey was renewed because they got to play on the power play and they got to play the big minutes at even strength. And they had gotten so used to playing in the NHL, it was get rid of the damn puck, man. And they were like relied on to lug the puck and pass the puck. And I thought that was, I think every NHL player who plays third, fourth line should go to Europe, like play in Switzerland for a couple of years. Get your passion back. That Bonnie Tyler video is 1980s wild. Yeah, it is. Have you ever seen Amy Stewart's Knock on Wood? That's 1970s wild. You guys probably already touched on this. I caught the tail end of the conversation on Connor Unger. Most likely they send Ingram down. Do you think they're going to look for a trade for Pickard? Would they be able to bring Connor Unger up for the test run? Yeah, I mean, I'm reading the tea leaves right now. I think that my guess is that Connor Ingram has won the backup job. They've activated him full stop, and now, he's here. And they could send him down, but and not risk waivers in the next little while, but not long. I think he's won the job. And look, I have all the time in the world for Connor Unger. I hope he does really well, but it's 5 games in the AHL. You're not going to risk your season on a goaltender who has stopped 95% of the shots, and that is a ridiculous number. And you could say, well, they did with Ken Dryden, but Dryden came out of Cornell. He was known. He was a giant, number one. And he had a 6-game audition in the NHL, and then he played in the playoffs, and he was brilliant. By the way, Glenn Sather did the same thing almost exactly with Andy Moog a decade after Ken Dryden. Hey, guys, speaking of former NHL players that went to play in the Swiss League, how is Mikko Koskinen's career? I looked not long ago, maybe a year ago or something like that, and it seemed like he was doing okay. I always check on my one of my favorite players, Mark Pouliot, who, he played with Lugano in 23-24, did Koskinen, and had a .900 save percentage. Does not appear as though he's played since then. Now, understand, he made a pile of money, so.
So in the 22-23 season with Lugano, he had a .937 and a .203 GAA in 33 games. In the 23-24 season, he had an .880 with a .329 GAA.
So he probably played himself out of that league then, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
it got a lot worse after that 23-24 season.
And while we're on it, we should always give an update on Mark Pouliot whenever we like. He's 40 years old now, and he is playing in the Swiss League, Geneva Servette. Am I pronouncing that right, Josh? He's played 36 games and has 5 goals and 8 points. He's been in the Swiss League for, my God, many years, since 2013-14. No, actually 2012-13. And he last played in the NHL in 2011-12 with the Phoenix Coyotes.
Other update. Jaromir Jagr is playing in Czech right now.
He owns the team.
For the Kladno Knights. He has 1 assist.
In how many games?
In 10 pims. He's a -7 on the ice.
How many games?
6. 6 games.
What is he, 55 now?
53 years old.
Well, the fact that he can get on the ice at
Flames
all.
legend.
Amazing player. It always hurt me that he never played here.
I can't.
During the lockout, he played with Hemsky over in Europe, and he talked about coming here, but then he did not. One of my all-time. He and probably Mike Modano, and if I'm honest, Jerome McGinley are 3 of my favorite players who never played for the Oilers, and I wish they had.
All right. So he's 18 when he joined the Penguins as a rookie,
I
right?
know, it was unbelievable. He
And
right
then-
away was an unbelievable player.
And then his last year in the NHL was 2017-2018 as a Calgary Flame.
Yeah. Did they win the Stanley Cup that year? No.
Unfortunately not. Close, though. Close.
Yeah. Brad says, my question is, how could they bring Unger up? It's not just the AHL stats. Look at his ECHL. Look at all the stats. But it's in like a very few games is what I'm saying. He'd have to play like this, I think, for a little longer. And chances are there's going to be, ugly word, regression on his numbers. And then we'll see. But I'm not poo-pooing him. I'm not saying that he's like, has no value. I'm saying he's emerging. I just don't know if he's emerging enough to get an NHL audition. That's a big ask. And the Oilers seem to be heading in a good direction right now with their goaltending. Just my opinion. I want to say I had a hunger for Unger in early December. I saw his numbers and thought he deserved a look in the AHL for a month or two. Imitation Tom. He certainly did. He's played very well at different locations in the ECHL. And then he went to the AHL and he blew the doors off. 953 is, if you are playing street hockey in your back, alley, and you're at 953 with a ball and, 6 kids who are less than 10, you're a really good goalie. So, yeah, it's worth paying attention to. And they could get him here if they wanted to. They could bring him up. But are you seriously going to take like 5 AHL games and consider that? I just think there's let's see how this plays out. I mean, it won't hurt to give him another 10 games.
Also, why would you want to do that? I know this happened because it annoyed the absolute hell out of me with Wolf.
Good. Oh, yeah, with Wolf. He was down there for years.
He's down there for 2.5 years, basically. Yeah. And that half year was just constantly calling up, going down, called up, going down. I was like, guys, either leave him up or leave him down. Why do we keep bringing him in? We're not going to the playoffs this year. Just let him get NHL reps.
He was long overdue. I'm just looking at it now.
He won the MVP, AHL equivalent of the MVP, I think 2 years in a row.
He was ready in 21-22, and he wasn't a regular in the NHL until 24-25.
Yeah, ready in 21-22. Guess what? Guess how good the team was in 21-22. Really good.
33 wins and 9 losses.
We were relying on, oh God, was it Mike? No, it was Talbot. We had Talbot because you guys had Smith.
Talbot, love Talbot. Matthew Phillips was filling the net down there for the Stockton Heat at that time.
Mike Smith is the reason that I'd say goalies shouldn't be leaving the crease.
He was so, he could be good, but he was so erratic.
He always had to go and hunt for the puck. And this is why I like Wolf. He doesn't really do that. So I'm like, hey, man, that's great. But I'm always yelling. The one thing I always yell about hockey at my TV is, please stay in your crease. There's a lot more curses than that at the time. But
my grandma, my entry level for hockey was my grandma yelling at every Toronto Maple Leaf goaltender to stay in the crease. She loved Johnny Bauer, not more than my grandpa, but I think it was close.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bauer, got old, and they brought in like Gary Smith and Bruce Gamble and Paul Harrison, and then eventually Mike Palmateer, who she liked, but she did not like him jumping out of the crease, and he did that often. But it's a low percentage play when the goalie leaves the crease. Gary Smith skated to center ice once.
Hey, so did Tristan Jarry last night. Zinger.
He lies, and more lies.
It was pretty close.
If Iginla joined the Oilers, he'd all of a sudden be criticized across Canada for being a cherry picker who floated around the neutral zone. I don't recall him doing that ever. Iginla was tough, man. He really altered Sheldon Surrey's career. He could fight, and he was a power winger. Tough player.
We talked about this all last week on Declinations. You should go give it a listen. Hour 1 of the Lowdown with Lowetide podcast.
We did talk for a time about it, didn't we?
About Jerome McGinley, because we were talking about favorite childhood athletes.
Yeah. So what you characters got coming up next?
Basketball.
Specifically about maybe the Raptors trading for a hurt guy?
Yeah, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about a potential John Morant landing spot because I have some thoughts on that one.
Vancouver Grizzlies. No?
Really well, close. He's already with the Grizzlies, so it'd be kind of a lateral move. And then also, Vancouver doesn't have a team, so I know it's unfortunate, but
they got to correct that.
Wait, they don't.
You can agree that if Vancouver had a team now, they'd support it better.
I don't know.
A ringing endorsement.
I do not believe that.
Okay,
I think Edmonton could support an NBA team.
All right.
But that's just me being a huge homer.
So.
It's because of Paul Sir, the tallest building in town.
There are a lot of hoopers in this city.
There are a lot of hoopers in this city. I think we underrate how many hoopers there are in this city.
Do you guys remember Mr. Hooper from Sesame Street?
No.
Okay.
That being said, just going by our text line, doesn't seem like there would be a huge...
Well, we'll see. Time flies, and who knows what the next franchise in Edmonton will be.
Cates, get on it.
There you go. 1:36. We'll take a break. Declinations and joshing around with Josh coming up.
Jamming with Josh.
Whatever it is. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Vinny and Don in Hockey are dedicated to skill development for all hockey players. If you know a student athlete interested in growing as a person and a player, register for a free shadow day. Beginner or experienced, this program develops a student athlete skill in a supportive environment. It's a great opportunity for prospective student athletes entering grades 3 through 12 to see what Vinny and Donnan have to offer. Visit vinnyridge.epsb.ca or donnan.epsb.ca for more info and to sign up.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. My name is Tyler Smith, and you are never alone. NotAloneCo.com. It's okay to not be okay.
Made for some rough roads, but it means trails are now packed and ready for action. Don't miss out on riding adventures this winter with a Ski-Doo from Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. Work or play with new 2026 Generation 5 models with class-leading design and power. And right now, take advantage of 5.99% financing OAC. Only at Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. 15 Inglewood Drive in St. Albert. And always at riversidehonda.com. Shop local, shop Canadian.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Mr. Rooter goes skiing. Sick gear, Mr. Rooter. Are you ready to hit the slopes?
Not yet. I need to report a possible crime.
Oh no, what's happening?
I saw a bunch of hooligans discussing shredding the half pipe. As a plumber, I've taken the Hippocratic Oath to do no harm and act in the best interest of all pipes, whether PVC, copper, or otherwise.
It's made of snow, Mr. Rooter.
Snow? Things are worse than I had feared.
There's no better plumber than Mr. Rooter.
No fluff, no fillers, just pure entertainment. Sports 1440 brings the heat with bold opinions, big personalities, and Edmonton's fiercest fans. This is your turf. This is Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
River Cree is the place for all your favorite sports. River Cree Resort and Casino, featuring UFC action and boxing live on the big screens at Tap 25, the MVP of sports bars, and in the Center Bar. Plus, catch this fall's biggest games. Every goal, every tackle, every home run. River Cree is also home to the Twin Rinks, where rec hockey and community teams come to play. Public skating available. Details at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. 140. Looking forward to this next segment. Declinations brought to you by Elks Nation. Check out the new website, elksnation.ca. Articles, podcasts, more breaking down the green and gold. We're getting closer. There's hot stuff happening. The most in-depth Double E football coverage online, elksnation.ca. Can't wait for the draft info. Can't wait. All right. Boys, what do you got?
Yeah, so a few things I want to talk about. Giannis, he's actually on the TV in studio here. He was booed at home last night as they were down 30, which is, we'll get to that. I want to talk John Morant on the move, but I want to start with the one that kind of concerns the Canadian market, Anthony Davis getting traded, or the idea of Anthony Davis getting traded to the Toronto Raptors. And I'm looking at it because Anthony Davis this season, he's making $54 million. He's not going to play for the rest of the next season. $58 million next, or I presume he's not going to play for the rest of the season.
6 weeks. He'll be reevaluated.
Yeah. And they're estimating several months, $58 million next season, then a player option for $62 million in 27-28.
How does he make a living doing this? This is so tough for him.
Well, you know what? It was really tough when he was in California having to pay those Cali state taxes. He was on that $63 million or that $62 million a year, that player option that's going to kick in 28 as part of the extension. He was only going to take home like $28 million after taxes or something, which is pretty crazy. Like, say what you will about getting paid $63 million a year, but when you sign a $63 million a year contract and you end up taking home $28 million, like that's
can I
crazy.
send him my empties? Because I feel bad.
Listen, if no one's going to go to bat for the guys on $60 million a year contracts, I will. But you look at the Toronto Raptors, and fit-wise, I do think Anthony Davis matches what they kind of have with the defensive identity. I do think I like Scotty Barnes. I don't think Scotty Barnes is ever going to be a superstar. And I don't think Scotty Barnes can ever, I like Scotty Barnes a lot. But it's just being a superstar of superstars in a league that's driven by superstars is rarefied air. And as good as Scotty Barnes is, I don't think he's there. And I'm looking at the salaries for the Raptors. So the money that you would have to move out to make it work for AD, it's got to be Barrett and Pirtle would be kind of the ideal one when you just look at money, and then maybe you mix in Jacoby Walter, Garrett Temple, things like that to kind of make the rest of the money work. But I don't think the Mavericks would want to go for that. They would probably want a combination of Barrett and Quickly. They'd probably honestly want Barnes back, but I don't think the Raptors would ever do it. But I think the Raptors are kind of handcuffed here because these are some of the Raptors' salaries. Scotty Barnes, $38 million this year. Brandon Ingram, $38 million this year. Emmanuel Quickly, $32.5 million this year. RJ Barrett, $27.7 this year, and Jakob Poeltl, $19.5 this year. Player option that goes into the extension where he's going to be making $29 million in the 29 season. You have a lot of money. You have a lot of A-level spending on B- guys with these players, and you're probably going to have to move out two of them And I think Emmanuel Quickley has to be one of them, even though do you want Emmanuel Quickley at $32 million to make that Davis deal work? And I'm just not sure what players out of those 5 I just listed come together to make the Mavs happy about sending out Anthony Davis. And then on top of that, if you're the Raptors, you're getting a flawed asset because he's so hurt all the time
and not readily available.
Yeah. Josh, what do you think on this one?
I think if the Raptors trade for Anthony Davis, it's a terrible idea, and they're sinking their franchise for the next 3-4 years.
Here's my thing: like, what is this Raptors team ceiling as is currently constructed?
As is currently constructed, maybe a second round exit,
right? Like, I think that'd be generous. Like, I think getting out of
you said ceiling.
Yeah, I know. I still think like getting into the first round out of the play-in is maybe this team ceiling. Maybe I'm being harsh. Maybe
I think you're
right.
being a little harsh.
Maybe a second round ceiling is the exit. But I look at this like, do I want to pay Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram and Emmanuel Quickley a combined $113 million next season?
No,
that's not even mentioning RJ Barrett, who I'm paying like now.
Okay, but
we're up to 140.
RJ Barrett is incredibly valuable to the operation that the Raptors are running. But also,
I would agree.
No disrespect to Anthony Davis, but at this point, like you called him, he's a flawed asset.
He's so hurt all the time.
Like, you're trading for a guy, glass cannon. He's going to be so good when he's in.
Yeah, and he's not going to play that
in
much.
enough.
He is
warrant giving up a giant package.
I think you're probably right. I think most Raptors fans would probably agree. And like, I'm looking down the list of, the roster, and I'm looking at the young players. Like, do I really love Grady Dick? Like, he's a rotation player at best, I think, or maybe he's a starter on a bad team. I like Colin Murray-Boyles. Like, do I like him as a cornerstone of my team? Probably not. Like Jacoby Walter.
Probably not.
No.
We're 40 games into his NBA career?
Yeah, but still, like, you can.
He's a good defensive asset.
Really, and he's a good defensive asset on a good,
and he's a
on
guy
a good defensive team.
And he's, I don't know.
Brendan says,
but he's the second best defender on the team. Him and Scotty are the highest rated defensive rating duo in the league.
Brendan says, let's trade for Finger Gun Morant. Is that a better?
That's a terrible idea.
It's a horrible idea, but I am glad that one gets brought up because I was looking at landing spots for John Morant and I came up with 2 in the West. But like, Josh, here's the thing. I was looking at the Eastern Conference and I don't see a landing spot where Ja fits in. Like, honestly, look at some of these, look at some of these top end teams like Detroit. No. New York. No. Boston. No. Toronto. No. Philly, no. Orlando, maybe you could talk yourself into that one, but I'd be really hesitant to do that. Like Cleveland, no. Miami is the first team you get to when you go down the list of the standings where you're like, okay, I could see a fit there.
Bad city.
But then even still, like I looked at what this would have to look like. You're almost certainly giving up one of Bam or Tyler, like without question. And I'm not sure at this point I want to give up either Bam or Tyler for John Morant. Now, I think John Morant is better than Tyler Herro as a pure basketball player. I think he's probably better than Bam Adebayo as a pure basketball player as well, although they're obviously so different. But I'm looking at this like, do I want to give up Norm Powell and Andrew Wiggins to make the money work? Like, probably not. Do I want to give up Tyler Herro and Davion Mitchell and Fontecchio? Like, probably not. Like, I think it's his best fit. But again, like I look down at when you start to really break down what this realistically looks like, what I would have to give up if I'm Miami. Like I'm sitting here saying no way.
Rightfully so. I don't think there's a team for John Morant.
Because here's the other thing. It's funny you said that. I was looking at the NBA landscape, and the 2 teams I liked as landing spots for him were Minnesota.
I don't think him
and Portland.
I don't think him and Ant would fit well. Portland's in a bad spot right now. So
yeah.
I guess you could.
Portland's kind of in a spot where, like, if they got a player like John Morant, they could convince themselves he's a piece they need to get over a hump. But when I look at Minnesota, the reason I liked him is because I just love the idea of Ant and Ja doing windmill dunks every game and combining for 75 points.
It's fun in theory.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think they could do that. Like, I think they could both go out and get 30 a night. I mean, obviously, probably not 30 a night, but like call it whatever, 27 and 24.
I think you sacrifice winning basketball that way.
You would sacrifice winning basketball that way. And here's the other thing. I hate to harp on this. Like, so are you moving out Naz Reid and Jaden McDaniels? Are you moving out Julius Randle and Naz Reid?
You could talk me into if it was the Timberwolves, you could talk me into letting Julius Randle go.
Yeah, I don't love Julius Randle, but then all of a sudden, like, who's my starting 4? Like Nas, and then who's like, what does my bench look like? Like they already
are like at a bad spot
yes
with the bench.
Yeah, they're already and they're
barely an
small
8-person
off the
rotation.
bench. Yeah, and then I don't know, like does Memphis want like Rob Dillingham? Would you give up Rob Dillingham if you're Minnesota? Like, I'm not sure that I would.
Too early.
I agree. Giving up Bones Highland, like who wants to take him on? 38-year-old Joe Ingles as a sweetener? I don't know.
He has to get traded to a place like the Blazers where they're in a rut, but they're in a bad spot, and they're not playing exciting basketball. You bring Ja Morant in,
and
you basically give people a reason to come and watch your games, and be okay with the fact that you're losing, because at least you get to watch Ja Morant slam home some dunks.
And here's the thing: to get him, you're either like this is what I thought. To get him, you're probably giving up Jeremy Grant. And what team in the world wants to take on Jeremy Grant?
What's his contract right now? I know you have it in front of
32 for this year, 34 next year, $36 million player option in 27-28.
When does the salary cap go up?
Well, it's going up 7%, I think, next season. But dude, even still, like, I'm sorry, a 31-year-old Jeremy Grant by the end of this contract, I don't know when his birthday is. He's going to be 38 years old, making $36 million a year, which like it's not 50 mil like some of the contracts could be, but I don't know. Who's an NHL comparison for Jeremy Grant? It's like you're paying, bro. It'd be like if you were paying, I really want to do this.
Trent Frederick, because he's making $4 million times forever.
It's like, no. It'd be like, I really want to think of a good one here.
Well, he's making 36 isn't the cap at the high end of the cap, right?
No, at this point, it's right in the middle.
You know, it's actually it'd be like if Jonathan Huberdeau. It's like I think,
but Huberdeau makes a lot of money.
Yeah,
like the idea of this cat is that he's not making a lot of money.
No, he's making a lot of money.
No, but is he the 25th highest paid player in the league?
He's probably around there, but he's making way more money than he's worth.
Yeah,
that contract,
far more money than he's worth.
That contract when it was signed was ridiculous.
So he was kind of a mid-level guy that was signed long-term to money that wasn't anywhere near the cap. That's
to be fair, he had been real good.
He had one good season. Yeah,
but that's because he was the best player on a bad team, which is an insane thing to say. No disrespect to Jeremy Grant. But if he's your best player, you got some problems. And he was scoring like 25 points a night. And they went, oh my God, franchise cornerstone. We got a number 2.
Man, like Jeremy Grant, after that 22 season or 23 season, signed a 5-year, $160 million deal with Portland. Oh my goodness, that contract makes me sick thinking about this. So my point being, Ja can go there and he can kind of whittle away and they can win 35 games every year, but he can be a guy to put on, posters. Or do we send Ja Morant somewhere where we can take an honest shot at reinvigorating his basketball career?
Do they care about that?
Does Ja Morant care about that?
No, like does the team do they just want to get rid of him? Or
I think the Grizzlies at this point just want to get rid of him.
Okay, so
the question really comes down to does Ja, he has all the money he needs for the rest of his life.
Have they let him talk to any team?
I have no idea,
because that to me would be the next step, right? If you just want him out of town,
I wouldn't say it really works like that in the NBA, because again, in the NHL, no move clauses are handed out like contracts,
right?
Or are handed out like candy, and they are limited no move clauses or limited no trade clauses.
Yeah, that doesn't exist.
That's
in the NBA.
not a thing in the NBA.
Buyouts don't exist either, really.
No, not at all. And so if a team doesn't want you, it's not like, hey, go find yourself a trade partner. Some people will do it, but they say, hey, man, we've just traded you to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Pack your bags. And that's it. End of story.
Mm.
He could retire.
Sure.
If he gets traded somewhere he doesn't want to play.
Right.
But then you're leaving like $100 million on the table.
And then you're leaving that much money on the table. So
I guess we can wrap it up. I wanted to talk Giannis. Hey, Milwaukee, don't boo him, but we better hand it over to you to finish the show.
The feeling I have about Giannis though is that this is just they were down by a bunch of points. He made a great play, and this isn't like the beginning of some kind of major outrage or anything. Like there's not a.
I think it is.
Really?
Yeah, it'd be like if the Oilers were down 6-0 and McDavid scored and the whole arena.
Do you think he'd end up getting traded now?
Oh, I think he'll get traded.
Interesting.
Listen, man, Milwaukee, you guys are a small market, like nothing team, and you had a superstar of superstars who I think is one of the top 15 best players in NBA history who actually wanted to be there.
But they won, right? So it doesn't matter almost.
Yeah, but like again, like they'll always have that, and that's awesome. But like you had a superstar of superstars who wanted to be there. That doesn't happen in Milwaukee.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed this. This was good.
Informative, I hope.
Also, your guy Maxey should be in the MVP conversation.
No, you're talking. We should have started with that.
I wanted to get to it. We didn't have
Oh,
time.
well, maybe we could do that like another day. All right. Thanks so much for tuning into the Lowdown. Jason Krueger on the way next. Enjoy your day.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by meals.loca.ca. Every fresh chef-crafted gourmet meal, handcrafted from scratch, fresh ingredients, and arrives at your door fully cooked and ready to heat, eat, and repeat. Meals.loca.ca. NHL action today. It gets going at 5 o'clock. Kraken and New Jersey Devils at 5:30. We're going to see the Flyers and Sabres and also the Sens and Rangers. The late game, 8 o'clock, sees the Vegas Golden Knights in LA to take on the Kings. Toronto Raptors on the road in Indiana to tip off today's NBA action at 5. Cleveland and Philly also at the same